Great Britain, the dominant force in the men's fours since the Athens Olympics, but today facing a stern test.
And a good start by everybody, and this race hotly waited for, because the British, who have dominated this event for the last 2 years, have been under pressure. They lost in Lucerne. They only just won their semi-final here. The crew, in no doubt the coaches on the bank have been saying, the Kiwis, the New Zealanders look absolutely superb. Everyone's out for the British crew's blood, though.
But the British, traditionally, they look to make a fast start and dominate the race.
Yeah, they do, and I would say if the British are going to win this race, they've got to have probably about a second lead going into 500 metres. Now is where the British crew start to move out, and you could expect the bows of that number 4 to go in front. They have had some technical problems, I think, coming into this race. Their first heat, they were led out by the French, who are just in front now, and the British wanted to dominate them. They raced them again in the semi-final and led them comfortably by about 500 metres. It looked like they were back in business, but it cost them a lot. And I think at the moment this British crew can move quickly, very quickly, but it cost them a lot to do it, and that's what they pay for in the last part of the race.
Well, I think it's fair to say, Martin, that they have looked less convincing. What have they been trying to do to get back to their old selves?
Well, after Lucerne, their coach Jürgen Grobler said, you know, we've got to row better if we want to be competitive and stay out in front. So really he's been looking for more leg drive, more lock from the legs in the first part of the stroke. And I think they looked a little bit confused in the first race here. But at the moment, I don't think that's the start the British would have wanted. They really need, I think, an extra half a length from what they've got on the field at the moment to dominate.
11 boats qualifying from these World Championships in the men's fours for Beijing. The 6 in picture now, plus the first 5 from the B final earlier today, which resulted in the Czech Republic beating the United States, Germany, Ireland and Belarus. So those 5 nations also with a boat through to Beijing. And this is really interesting, Martin, because they're all in a line. It's just one big pack.
Yeah, this isn't great news for the British, quite frankly, and I think the Dutch and the New Zealanders, the Kiwis in particular, are going to be saying, well, you know, this is great because this is our race. The British led out in Lucerne in the final despite having that substitute Tom James on board. I thought it was a very brave row. Stevie Williams, the British bowman, talking about being more passionate, but at the moment for the Dutch to be in the lead and the French still up there, the British back in third, is that even 4th place behind Slovenia? I mean, normally the British are destroying Slovenia at this part of the race.
Yeah, the Dutch, I must say, looking pretty relaxed. We're looking at the French now. The French with their stroke man, Dorian Mortillet, in picture there with Germain Chardin, Benjamin Rondeau and Julien Desprez. That's the quartet for them as we come to the half distance, but it is the Dutch being stroked there by Kees Vermeulen, who've got the advantage ahead of Slovenia on the far side, and Great Britain, as you say, only third. But look at that, less than 2 seconds between the whole field.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and I think New Zealand, if we go on the way they've raced here, their second 1,000 metres will be superb, and the Italians too, since they finished 4th in Lucerne, they just made the finals, putting out a fantastic American for their top boat. So they've scraped in, but here they're riding with a shout, just what, 2/3 of a length off the lead.
Yeah, it was the Slovenians on the far side. He threw everything into that second quarter, 1:30.50, which has kept them on the premises, and they're right alongside the Dutch, so they've got the race pace right next to them, but it would be a huge shock if Slovenia actually ended up by taking a gold medal and perhaps arguably taking any medal in this. But the Dutch now looking very, very solid, but you can see there on the far side there, Slovenia and now New Zealand. Just have a look at this. You signposted it a few moments ago, and New Zealand just beginning to move forward now. Hamish Bond with Eric Murray, and then James Dallinger and Carl Mayer coming up to his birthday there in the bow of that New Zealand 4, and they're looking threatening.
Yeah, just see the Italians there. Calvancini, the ball guy in the stroke seat, he was in that 4 that was just behind Stephen Redgrave, that famous race in the Sydney Olympics. Sartori there in the 2 seat, more known as a single sculler, but moving into this 4 with 500 metres to go, and they could just take in the lead. What an amazing row from Italy.
The wonderful thing about world rowing these days is, once upon a time, Martin, let's say back in your heyday, as we see the New Zealanders, it was often regarded that if you got into the final and the outside crews, you'd be disappearing by the time we got to the 1,000 metre mark. but these days, such is the standard of world rowing, you can win from anywhere when you get into the final.
Absolutely, and I'm looking at the British, the world champions there. They need to find something special. New Zealand have got that sprint. Look at them go, but where's the British sprint? Where's the passion that we're looking for? Ratings going up, but the boat's not moving, and the Dutch still holding that lead.
Just 250 metres or so to go now for the British to put this right, and it's not looking good if they want to win a third world title in a row. And it's Holland who are now feeling the heat of New Zealand, and New Zealand coming through now with Italy on the near side. Don't rule out Carboncini, Mordanti, Sartori and Mornati as they really strive now. They're not out of this as the flag obliterates our view of this. New Zealand challenging very strongly now onto the Dutch, and New Zealand on terms. New Zealand ahead, and Italy now into third place ahead of Great Britain on the far side, and Italy now into the silver medal position. Just a few metres to the line, but it is going to be New Zealand. New Zealand coming through to take the gold medal in the men's fours from Italy, and then Holland take the bronze. Great Britain only fourth, ahead of Slovenia and France.
And that has been a classy performance from New Zealand. No wonder they're so delighted. Absolutely amazing that a crew so dominant early in the season in Linz, when they won convincingly, could come to this race and not even make a medal.
A huge wake-up call for the British and their coach Jürgen Grubler. Less than 5 seconds separating the field, but what a great couple of hours for New Zealand. 2 golds and 2 silvers, all in Olympic events.